Hello, my name is Jose Roberto Alonso G. I am a PhD student of the Institute of Nuclear Science in the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de Mexico, and I'm gonna talk you about Zeeman effect in the 5s to 5p transition of atomic rubidium as a magnetometry tool. So, for starters, we can mention some applications that require a high level of precision in measuring magnetic fields, from mapping the brain magnetic activity using alkali atoms, as what we call magnetoencephalography, to the implementation of superconducting quantum interference devices, or SQUIDs, for the exploration of mineral deposits. All of this is achieved via the quantitative determination of a magnetic field. So the purpose of this work is to show how the constant magnetic field B sub 0 produced by a pair of Helmholtz type coils can be characterized through Doppler free spectroscopy of rubidium atoms. So we studied the D2 line of the 87 rubidium isotope in a room temperature vapor. For this, we arranged a saturated fluorescence spectroscopy experiment in two separate cells, one with the external magnetic field and the other one without the field, which serves as a frequency reference signal. Well, the experimental setup is clearly displayed here. This section where the fluorescence signal of the cell number 1, which is the frequency reference, is recorded with a photodiode detector. And at the same time, cell number 2 has an external magnetic field, which is parallel to the direction of linear polarization of the incoming light. To understand these measurements, it is important to review the electronic structure of the atomic system. The hyperfine states of the grand 5s level are separated more than the Doppler width, and therefore, by tuning the laser frequency, one can select the isotope and lower hyperfine state of the transition. For this work, we chose the F2 state of the rubidium isotope. Furthermore, at zero magnetic field, the saturated fluorescence spectrum resolves the hyperfine structure of the 5p 3.5 sided state. In the presence of a magnetic field, these hyperfine states split into their corresponding magnetic sublevels. For example, the F2 hyperfine state splits into 5 substates with projections m sub f equals -2, -1, 0, +1, and +2. Well, in general, for each value of f in the excited state, the external magnetic field results in a 2f plus 1 split manifold. This, combined with the geometry chosen for this experiment, as we show here, that is, linear polarization of light parallel to the magnetic field, only allows production of transition between states with the same value of magnetic quantum numbers m sub f, giving us a total of 14 possible transitions. Each of these columns with a particular color represent the levels that are involved in these transitions. Here is relevant to speak about the crossover resonances that appear midway between two saturated fluorescence peaks. Uh, these crossover resonances are formed by the atomic velocity groups on resonance with both of the counterpropagated laser beams through the vapor cell. Add together the external magnetic field results in several transitions that needs to be identified. Locally, crossover resonances only appear between states with the same m sub f values, allowing us to easily trace the atomic resonances. Well, with this in mind, a code was written to produce the bright rabbit diagrams of both initial and final multiplets, and also to calculate the transition matrix elements. The latter allows to calculate the transition probability between the different energy levels of the Zeeman hyperfine splitting. There is a significant region of magnetic field values in which several transition probabilities have very small values, allowing the isolation of the F2 to F1 with M sub F minus 1 transition as a good candidate for magnetic field calibration. As we show here in this graph is the green line with M equal minus 1 that we want for this magnetic calibration of the field. The main result is shown here in the central part of the poster. The position and the intensities of the saturated fluorescent spectra were obtained as functions of the external field B sub 0. Both experimental and theoretical data is shown here for comparison. Here we use a phase-sensitive detection to achieve the dispersion profiles of the fluorescence spectrum. We highlight here in a red box the 5s 1.5 with F2 to 5p 3.5 with F0. The transition isolated from the rest of the transitions because uh, this particular transition is forbidden at zero magnetic field, and it only occurs because the magnetic field mixes a state with m sub f equals 0 with different values of f. Reminding the crossover resonances, we show them here in these dotted lines right between the atomic resonances. So, our assumption that the resonances appear between states with the same m sub f values seem to be correct. Also, in the green box here, we show the 5s with f2 to 5p with f3 transition, which at zero field is a cyclic transition. This means that the F3 excited state can only decay back to the F2 ground state. Our results indicate that small magnetic fields below 5 Gauss produce a clear change in the slope of this dispersion profile, shown here. We are convinced that these results show that saturated fluorescence spectroscopy in atomic rubidium is a very useful magnetometry tool. Well, we are currently exploring the second resonance transition in rubidium, the 5s to 6p, as a more sensitive magnetometry tool. Thanks for watching.